Well, good morning, everyone. There we go. Everything's up. I can see what I'm doing now. Anyhow, good morning. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 22nd day of April, 2019. Well, 22, that is a master number. Any of the double numbers, 11, 22, 33, 44, all of that, those are considered master numbers in numerology. So 22 is considered the master builder. So what are we going to do today? What are we going to build today? What will we manifest? What will we create? Will it have a spirit-informed focus, or will it be, traveling down the path of ego? It tends to suggest a more spiritual approach to things, but you never know. We have a choice we make when we focus into form. Are we going to live in service to self or service to others? Those choosing a service to self focus, you tend to see that. That tends to be pretty obvious when everything they do really serves them. And if it happens to serve someone else in the process, okay. Someone who's more service to others, though, understands that the more they give, the more they receive. So it's not an issue. They don't worry about it. It's the difference between somebody who says, I'm only going to help you if I get something out of it. What do I get, for doing it? Am I going to get paid? Am I going to get this or that? Or someone who just does a random act of kindness, just helps, just to help. Kind word, thank you, that's it. You don't need anything else. You don't need any recompense. You just do it just because it makes you feel good. It helps somebody. That's a good thing. You don't worry. It's that, I guess it's that whole notion of pay it forward instead of, getting paid back. You pay it forward. I don't know. But again, it's not with the idea that you're necessarily going to get something out of it, other than maybe you feel good about it. That's really more about what the cosmic builder energy is about, I think. But anyhow, if you have not been here before, thank you so much for stopping by. Click subscribe. I'd love you to do that. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you so much as we grow our little tarot and rune family here. Let's get started with the first card. Well, we have the Ten of Cups. We're talking emotional fulfillment. That's a nice way to begin a Monday, isn't it? It's a one energy, so that's new beginnings. Cups is our emotions. It's the water element. You see the rainbow above and 10 chalices. It denotes abundance. But given that the water element deals with our emotions, we're really talking about emotional fulfillment and security and love. You can see the kids are playing, and mom and dad are got their hands raised in unison. Everything's very positive in this card. Let's draw another. Well, if you're working magic today, then today is governed by the moon. We just had a full moon, so we might still be feeling that energy. It's only the 22nd, so the full moon was on the 19th. So crone energy, the crone phase was on the 20th. So yeah, I mean, we're still got a little bit of, but it's technically probably waning at this point. I'll have to look at the astrology software. I didn't do an astrology post this last weekend on the blog. Instead, what I did was I had so much fun doing the human design post that I decided to go ahead and said earlier on, that I was going to think about doing some different things on the blog and maybe starting some different series. I've been doing a moon magic one where I've just been doing lunar transits and, looking at different, aspects and different magical things you can do on during that period, reflecting that particular moon phase and all that. But I just decided to do this human design one on the day the Mueller report came out, just to kind of cast it for that time. It was supposed to come out at 9:30 and all that. So anyhow, I cast it for that, and then I started I go, well, geez, I better get back to this. I haven't written on anything on human design in a long time, and I really like it. I actually like it better than astrology, but I do like astrology, so I've been writing up things on that. But anyhow, I went ahead and I published it yesterday, and it's the human design transits for this week. And it just kind of shows you, I don't know yet what the exact format's going to be, so it was kind of a little bit of overkill this time, just to get people acquainted with what it is. And so anyway, if you want to check that out, that's over at Stepping Aside at imsteppingaside.com. That's the blog that I write. So give that a look and see what you think about it. I find human design to just be fascinating. You know, it utilizes the information from the I Ching along with, you know, moving the planets. You're basically, the planets are moving around the zodiac, but not the zodiac. They're moving around the I Ching. Is what they're doing. And and wherever they're parked, that's the gate and the line. The gate would be one of the hexagrams or guas, and then the line would be one of the 6 lines that comprise each one. And so you find out where your planet is at that moment, and that you're looking at, and you can see what kind of information it has to give. I find it fascinating and so on the money. I mean, the I Ching is very, very old. It's been a divination tool for a long, long time, thousands of years. And I just think that it provides a different aspect of self to consider. So anyhow, check it out if you want to. That's the most recent thing. I may or may not do, I don't know, the moon might move today again, or maybe it moves tomorrow. Maybe it's today. So I'll catch up on that. But I just wanted to spend some time looking at that. And so I was doing that and planning that particular post. So that's why I didn't get to the other. Anyhow, so let's do another card. I take the 13th card if you're new here. And I generally just do 3. Once in a while I do 4, and then I'll do a rune and we'll compare all of it. Well, here we have, and I do not have my magnifying glass here. Well, here we have another 10. I'm going to put the first 10 over here, and we're going to maybe start with this one. And I don't know, I move cards around, and so maybe I might even take the 3rd one and put it at the first. I don't know. But here we have the 10 of Swords, which I know looks like a really terrible card. In one sense it is. We've just gone as far as we can go. You know, we've either been in conflict, verbal conflict, or because Swords is about our intellect, and so it's about communication and reason and balance and fairness and justice, and you know, but it's the intellect, it's the mind. So either we've done this to ourselves and we've just gone as far as we can go, kind of the sun is rising in the back, although you don't see the sun itself, you do see the light. So light at the end of the tunnel, in a way. The water is, you know, kind of grayish cast. So, you know, our emotions aren't in a good place either. You know, these cards are rarely simply about the given suit. You'll see other aspects in there as well as other elemental aspects as well. And here, you know, when I see the gray water, it's just, you know, we're calm, but we're not in it. We're not emotionally there or available. So things are settling out, and we're going to make another decision here. The 10 again, new beginnings, new day. This is a new day, but I suspect it's coming after this other 10. So let's put the first 10 over here if we're going to go in order at all. And I don't know that we will, but sometimes we do. Sometimes you can see it order, but sometimes you have to move them around and have them make sense. I just don't think that we go from being really happy to having, you know, we've gone as far as we can go and we're dead on the ground, you know. I don't know. I think that may have happened first. I think that maybe we come into some kind of emotional fulfillment. I suspect the next card denotes some kind of change or transition, but we'll see. Otherwise, we might have to go a little bit different direction with the interpretation. So not everything is connected, although somewhere down the line it usually is. But in the immediate sense, sometimes it's not always obvious. Keep an eye on my counter here. Well, okay, yeah. So what I said happened. Only, I think I'm going to do a fourth card. Here we have the Five of Pentacles. They're outside likely a church. So help is available, but either they haven't figured it out, or they're passing it by, or maybe they feel it's not available to them. Now, if you look at the Five Pentacles up there, it almost looks like they are held up by Tiwaz reversed. Tiwaz is like an arrow, and maybe I'll draw it. Who knows? Within the Elder Futhark, Tiwaz is the 17th rune of the Elder Futhark, and it's about it reflects the god Tyr. It is the spiritual warrior within. But here, and again, I don't know in this deck if they were even thinking along those lines when Pamela Coleman Smith drew these cards, but sometimes I see runes in them. And for me, I just relate to it that way. And so when you see the arrow pointing downward here at the bottom of those pentagrams or pentacles, you're basically, you're not using the power of spirit within. You're so caught up in what's going on, your own sadness and your own misery and your own defeat, that you cannot see the spirit within. You're fully vested in this form, and you don't realize that there are other options, that you are spirit and not the ego, that whatever is, that there is help available, that there's awareness available. So I'm going to put this card first. Now something has happened, and then, we're basically walking against the elements. You can see snow on the ground. You've got one guy's on crutches. The other person, you can see they're leaning forward into the wind. So we've got there's been some change, some difficulty that's happened in our lives. Maybe we have seen an end to that and a new beginning is about to start. So 5 is change, 10 is new beginnings. We've gone as far as we can go, because these two cards really seem to play together here. Something about our foundation pentacles is the earth element, or our foundation, the physical presence and form. So financial security, health, all of that, where we live, our family structure. So basically the fundamental structure of our lives is contained within the suit of pentacles. But something has happened with respect to something intellectual, something about our thoughts have maybe taken us there. Maybe our thoughts have contributed to the issue of our foundation. Maybe our communication with others has interfered with that. Or maybe we've just been struggling against so much that we've just not been able to break through any of this. And now, when all is done and we've just gone as far as we can with all of it, and I want to look here on the 10 of Swords to make sure that there's nothing else that I'm missing here, but it just feels like it's the end of illusion, that whatever our structure was, and maybe that's what this was, maybe the change that is happening, either this is the beginning and we've lived a life that has been filled with illusion, and then we've discovered it, right? And we've realized, and we have to move on. We're going to pass by the illusion of what our structure was, and it's not to necessarily suggest that it's religious in nature, although it could be. You could be having a spiritual crisis where maybe your whatever group you belong to, whether it's a political party or whether it's a religious, whether it's a particular religion, maybe you're having issues with all of it. It could be that obvious, that's specific here, but it doesn't have to be. when you're looking at, the stained glass window, if it does denote a church, all that could mean is just whatever your basic fundamental concept of self and life and all of that, what that all looks like. For many people, it's religious based. Some people, it's all about political beliefs. Some people take a more earth or natural approach to things, and so they're not concerned with those things. They're more concerned with an inner focus, or maybe a nature, a focus on the natural world and how you interact with that. So whatever your structure and foundation is, maybe there's a change that has happened because something has happened. To motivate you to maybe look in a new direction, to just give up what was and just let it go, to end that illusion so that you can make way for something better. I want to do a fourth card though, just to see. So either, the 10 can be beginnings and endings. So maybe our life was just one big illusion. Maybe the 10 of Cups, maybe we really do want to start with that. I hate to do that though. It was such a nice way to start the day. But if there's been a change in our lives, and maybe we thought things were a certain way, and maybe they weren't, maybe we were living an illusion. I'm hoping that this fourth card is going to tell us whether or not where we need to put this 10 of Cups, and I'm really hoping it's going to be at the end. I mean, it could just mean that today is a new day. We've just really come through it all, and now we're ready to start anew. But let's see. All right, I'm going to start that over. My cards are I'm not able to get them right. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah, we've really been living in a dream world. So, okay. Do I have these in the right order? I have 9 and then 10. Okay. So you see the relationship here. Here in the 9, we're kind of getting our thoughts in order, believe it or not. And in the 10, it's just, that's just it. We're done. So the process of the 10 begins in the 9. Now, 9 is about completion. And you can see the sense of completion because the swords are hooked together almost in a pattern, similar to the pattern there on the quilt. Everything's in its place now in our mind. And we've got a sense of completion. We understand the illusion we've been living under, and the 10 is we're ready to let it go. Now, what does that have to do with here? We've got some hardship going on. And I suspect that this comes first. Now, I'm going to leave it to all of you to decide where this goes. But I'm going to pull a rune and see if I can get one last thing here. Either we've been living under the illusion that all things are great. And we realize that, we've got some struggle. Now, I mean, I could do this in the most obvious political way. I'll do it quickly. So those of you who supported this guy in the Oval Office, you did it, and you did it with the best of intentions, and I know that. Maybe some of you were drawn to him because of your isms, and if that's the case, well, I don't know. You need to wake up. Those are an illusion, all right? All the isms. I don't care if someone's black, brown, white, whatever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Inside, we're all the same, and the skin color is the challenge, I guess, for some, but it doesn't have to be. That challenge is a choice. So let go of the isms. If that's what this is about for you, if that's why you were drawn to this guy, those are an illusion. Again, an illusion. All right? If you were drawn to him because you thought economically things would get better for you because he was the great and powerful CEO, that was an illusion. He is not. That's clear now, okay? Those people that are now paying the piper a little more, with paying the tax man a little more than they thought they were going to have to, I've been reading reports of people having to pay thousands of dollars because they didn't realize that this whole tax scam wasn't a scam, but it is. So there you go. Again, end of illusion. So we finally get the report. Lots of game playing going on, right? Lots of game playing. Finally, we get the report. Even in the redacted version, my God. I'm only part way through volume 2 because I've been working out in the garden. I've done volume 1. I'm into the volume 2. My God. It's not that we didn't know it, but when you read it and then when they finally testify to it, my God. So, end of illusion. No more illusion is there. No more illusion is possible. There you go. Now, either this was the illusion of the election for some, or it's going to be the outcome when we finally get it together and realize that people who voted for him were conned. Okay? You believe, look at some point we can all point the finger and say you shouldn't have done it. Well, you shouldn't have, but you did, and you honestly felt that he was the right guy. I get it. I get it. You know, it's the choice. Look, any one of us could choose wrongly, could believe what we see and believe what is said, really, and believe it, and really believe this person, and then come out and then we're wrong. That's awful, okay? That's this, where it's all coming into focus now, all right? And I'm sorry. Here's the thing. We have I was. Now, I was is the 13th rune of the Elder Futhark, and we can either view the 13 as a master witch number like a 7 and all of that, and not reduce the 13, or we can reduce it to 4 and have it be about our structure. Now, Hagalaz, the 9th rune of the Elder Futhark, is thought to be the witch rune, and if you look at the 13 as being a witch energy, then what you're looking at, if you refer this or liken this or relate this to Hagalaz, then what you're looking at is destruction within a fixed framework. So destruction of our illusions within the fixed framework of spirit. So we've got 10, we've got 20, so that's 2, 25, which is 7. And then 9 and 7 is what? 16, which reduces to 7. So a 7 energy. So magic, divinity, balance, bringing things back into balance so that our foundation is proper, so it's secure, so that we can see clearly, so that we're not believing in illusion. Is essentially about linking spirit with form, and so you're looking at basically as above, so below energy, aren't you? You're seeing Laguz forward and reversed, kind of. Although any way you turn it, Laguz is correct. It's going in the proper way, not reversed. So it's about the easy flow between spirit and form that should be easy. Because, if spirit were informing the process, then maybe we wouldn't have been quite so willing to believe. Maybe the other things that were out there about him during the campaign, maybe they would have given people pause. But instead, the momentum, and I felt it back then, the momentum was such that people were all in. And it's like, well, what about the women that were hurt? What about the children? What about the Jeffrey Epstein connection? What about, because let me tell you something, folks, if Jeffrey Epstein's your good buddy, what does that make you? to hang out with somebody who's a convicted predator, who trafficked in young girls, underage girls. Yeah, I don't know. You know, we believed what we believed and we voted accordingly, if that's what this is. But so much of our lives right now potentially are in such an uproar financially, all of it. You don't know where things are going. And now with this report out, it's the end of illusion, isn't it? And we can't look away any longer. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I think that the Ten of Cups belongs at the beginning. I'd like it to be the outcome. I think it can be the outcome. But this is the outcome. Replacing illusion of the ego and being that our focus, that emotional reaction to life as it's happening around us, forgetting that we are the creator of said life. Not my fault. I didn't do it. Not me. Yeah, you. We create this together. It's less about things happening to us than things that are, you know, that we're manifesting ourselves, really. But in this case, where you have an entire country held captive by this circumstance, and to have everybody's lives so dramatically affected by it, one way or the other, whether it's, you know, the government shutdown or people not, you know, that live in disaster areas not getting what they need, you know, California or Puerto Rico or whatever, you know, your lives are being disrupted in a way that, on the one hand, you could say, well, our lives have been an illusion maybe, and they need to be disrupted so we can really see the truth of what's going on. But there just don't seem to be any answers. Okay. And now we've got all this information and they're just trying to get the rest of it now so that some decisions can be made, you know. But right now, we just need to recognize that for the last few years, there's been a great illusion that we've been expected to buy into. And that if we're simply living in the reactive ego state, we're probably more likely to do that than if we step back and allow spirit to inform all of this, and so that we can see that in fact there's more to the story, even with the redactions. So the time is coming, though, when this will resolve and we can likely get back to whatever it is we need to get back to. But I think when that time comes, I don't think that we're going to be so easily fooled anymore. At least I hope not. The Russian government did some things to this country during the last election, whereby they released fake news stories, calling the quote mainstream media fake, and so it's only the Russian lies that are crafted. That's the real news. And that's what happened for many people. That became the lies. In other words, the lies became the truth, and the truth was branded as lies. If that doesn't make people angry, Lord, it should. It should make you livid that another country could do something like that to us, could play on our fears, could play on our emotions that way, to play on our isms. You know? This has been a game that's been played now for probably, I would say at least the 70s, at least the 80s, if not the 70s, but I'll bet it began then, because I'm that old. I was in high school and college in the 70s. I got married in 79, and I graduated from Portland State in 78. And so I was old enough When you're a child, you don't necessarily know what's going on in the world, but I was old enough to hear the news and process it and try to understand what was going on. And things have always felt odd. Too many, okay, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Why is that happening? No answers for any of it. And have we finally reached the place where we know now what it's all been about? I think we have. I think that our country has been played for a very long time. I think that we have been guided in our belief systems by others having their own needs to be the only thing important in there, and that's why they're doing it. And now what we have is a major quid pro quo. How much of our country has been sold? How much of our country has been given away? So, end of illusion, the Mueller report, oh, yeah, the beginning of that. And unfortunately, it's not going to be an easy thing to have to hear all these things, that we could have been so taken by this man and whoever it is that's doing this on his behalf, using him so they get what they want. So that's how I see it. I don't see it any other way, and I never have. So I hope that this reading is describing that, we've reached the end of the illusion and clarity is now here. We just need to pay attention, and we need to do the right thing to get the country back on track and to get a criminal out of there. So this is awful, folks. And I'm hoping that this is the hope I had, with the 10 of Cups, pulling that right off the bat. Maybe in time, we're going to be able to put that over on the other side. So anyhow, thank you so much for stopping by. I know this may sound like it's not such a great reading, but I promise you that it is. It's never fun to find out things we don't want to hear. When we find out that someone's done something to us, or, someone's, affected our lives in ways that we didn't participate in and we didn't want, we thought things were a certain way. I've been there, too many times in my life where I've wanted to believe. I've known in my heart I can't, but, I've wanted to believe. It's like I'm going to suspend all my intuition, all what I know, and I'm going to believe. And I've always been disappointed when I've done that. So pay attention to the inner voice. Pay attention to what you truly know. And embrace clarity, no matter how painful it is. So thank you so much for stopping by. I'll be back again tomorrow. Click subscribe if you haven't. I'd love you to do that. And thank you so much for coming. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.